Oh man, what a party! Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine, although I always feel like it devolves into people asking what the other person does for a living. And then we inevitably go home and forget everything about the people we meet, including their name.
This music is banging. Yeah.
I think you asked what I do? Oh, I'm a therapist. I didn't actually ask that, just the opposite. Oh, what are some common types of problems I help people with? Oh, a lot of the usual. Families with kids that are on their screens too much, couples with one person who leaves their dishes on the counter instead of putting them in the dishwasher, and of course, a lot of families dealing with health issues. Cool. It's really super interesting. Yeah, because of our government's withdrawal from the World Health Organization and defunding of the National Institute of Health and widespread ingestion of microplastics and pesticide residue, I work with so many families dealing with illness. Uh, do you mean disease? Oh, yeah, no, illness. You see, disease is just the physical manifestation of being sick, whereas illness represents the psychosocial experience of having a disease, which can be so much more problematic than actually the disease itself. Neato. It sounds like you know a lot about different kinds of diseases. Does that mean you're like a doctor and you know how to help people with every illness? No, not really. I only went to school for 2 years, so I don't have the same knowledge base as a doctor. But all illnesses can be categorized based on how fast they come on, how debilitating they are, whether they shorten a person's lifespan, and how it progresses. It helps if I know the symptoms of the illness, but really what's important for me to know and for the families to know is how the illness progresses, where it's headed, and what that experience would be like for the person and the family. Oh, so you're as important as a doctor, is what I'm hearing? You must get paid the same as a doctor then. Oh gosh, the music is pretty loud. I heard you say, what do you mean by experience? Oh, yeah. Well, the symptoms themselves present problems. How people in the family help the person manage the symptoms and prevent the disease from getting worse can be so tiring. Take lupus, for example. People with lupus deal with symptoms like joint inflammation, sensitivity to light, and fatigue, and the disease has no cure. So those symptoms are unpleasant to live with for the person who has them. But everyone in the family cares about this person, and so they feel bad that someone they care about is not feeling very good. And they do their best to help the person take care of themselves better. And that is a lot to worry about. And because the cause of lupus is sometimes uncertain or sometimes genetic, people feel like they don't have any control over what caused the illness. So they don't know what to do or who to be upset with, and that is stressful. And the person with lupus feels bad about their symptoms, but they may also feel bad about being exhausted and not being able to help out around the house. Or they might feel bad because they have to avoid the sun and so they can't play with their kids at the park. Or bad because they have lupus and will always have lupus. Whoa, whoa. Oh, that sounds so fascinating. It is fascinating. And too often, our healthcare system just tries to fix the body when so much of the problem involves stressors on the mind or the social lives of the person with the illness. People see their doctor to help fix the body and then have to go to visit a mental health specialist in a separate office to help them with the social and emotional problems of having the illness. Incredible. I know. It is incredible. It would be nice for me to have an office in a local family practice in an integrated setting so that at least the patient can get a warm handoff from the doctor to me without having to go to a different building. Um, I can get a little FaceTime with the patient to help them with any socio-emotional problems they might be having. And then the doctor and I could consult with each other and share conversations about the patient and how best to help them. But family practices like that are pretty rare, and deciding how to bill insurance can be a hassle. Since the same client in effect has to be billed twice for the same services. As well, you can see the differences between how mental health professionals and physicians view somatic problems. Sometimes I think that would be more rewarding. I could help people with more pedestrian problems like sleep hygiene or anxiety or depression, and patients could receive more integrated care with more serious concerns like lupus. I just think helping even one more person not to be treated so that they feel like a walking specimen jar would feel so good for me and for them. And that's why I decided to become a therapist in the first place, to help more people feel better. Like for you, it's clear you're someone living with hypertrichosis. Let me do a quick S bar. I'm guessing parties like this are anxiety provoking for you, and you may feel self conscious about all the hair that you have all over your body. That's very understandable. Tell me more about how your family has felt these impacts. Well, I just noticed that you were talking quite a bit a few minutes ago. Maybe any socializing is extremely draining for you. Or maybe your family has felt the impacts of all the time you've been spending around them rather than socializing with others. That discussing this makes you feel guilty because of what you feel like you're putting your family through. And that's worsening the anxiety. I totally get it. I'd recommend finding close friends who look past your condition, with whom you're able to spend quality social time, and try to hang out with them more often. I'm also going to leave you with my card, just in case you'd like to talk some more about your concerns. Have a good night. See you later. Finally, someone who understands my condition.